Today I'm going to be talking about how I made this costume. I'm just going to be talking about the prosthetics, the wig, and the bodysuit itself. I'll also be posting a video talking about how I do my makeup, where I get my contacts, and other things like that. So if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that this is probably my most popular cosplay, as well as the one that I've worked the hardest on. This is my own original character, not a particular Na'vi from the movie Avatar, and obviously if you are watching this video, you know what the 2009 Avatar movie is. But I get a lot of questions asking how I did my bodysuit and how I did my wig and things like that, because it looks very fluid in photos. So first I'm going to talk about the bodysuit, and then I'll talk about the wig and the prosthetics. The bodysuit is all from We Love Colors. They're two pairs of their heavy-duty nylon microfiber tights, I believe. They're the more expensive ones. They're really durable. They're basically just made into arm socks, which if you look up that on the internet, there's about 1 million tutorials, or you can buy them commissioned from Kinetic Cosplays on Etsy, or a couple other people I know also commission them. The feet are basically the same thing. They're just for your feet instead of your hands, and they're called foot socks, and you can find those commissioned as well. Or you can make them yourself. There's tons of tutorials on the internet. This is the tank leotard, and I just modified the back of it a little bit. Other than that, it's exactly the same. All of them are in their light blue color, which you could easily get them in a different color and do the same thing. I just chose light blue because it's what I thought was closest to the movie, but it's also what I thought would be easiest to paint on top of if there's a turquoise color underneath, which is in some of the other colors that I looked at, it's a little bit harder. All of the stripes are painted on with acrylic mixed with fabric medium, so they're a little bit sticky, and you also have to paint them on while they're on your body, otherwise the stretch of the tights will affect how they look. So every single stripe that I have was painted while I was wearing the costume, or while I had someone else wearing it for me, so that I knew exactly how they would look, where they would be, and make sure that they wouldn't crack when I put the suit on. The fingers have latex on them so that I can use my phone, which I have. So you can see that I can actually like slide open my phone and like touch it and things just to get it to work, which is a big thing that I notice people having problems a lot of when they're wearing any kind of gloves or arm socks, things like that. Latex works really well. It's also what I put on the bottom of my feet so that the tights don't tear, and I can wear them like shoes. It's very durable, but it's also very sticky, so you have to do it again while you're wearing it. There's also fake fingernails on the tights, which some people who make arm socks will do, some people won't. The fingernails, I think, personally give it a more realistic look than just leaving them to be, you know, without, which you can totally do. It's a lot more affordable, and it's a lot less hassle because the fingernails do get in your way when you're trying to do things. As far as the prosthetics go, they are handmade by me, and you can find tutorials for how to make latex prosthetics on the internet, and I'll link some down below that I used myself and also that I think are really, really helpful. A lot of people say that you need a cast to make a good latex prosthetic. As far as ears go, it's not really necessary, just because, especially with these kinds of ears, they're not matching the exact shape of your ear, and they're more angular and just bigger in general, and they don't really have a lot of the shape of what a normal ear would look like. It's basically just a mold, and then you coat it with latex a bunch of times, and then you take it off and paint it however you'd like. They work a lot like any other prosthetic that you would attach with spirit gum or anything like that. Mine have little loops on them so that they pin to my wig so that they stay up, otherwise they slowly droop down at the end of the day. The wig is a lace front that I got on sale, and then I added all of the details to. The queue, which I have, which is a really big part of this costume, I think in particular, is a piece of synthetic hair that I bought. If you go to any kind of African braiding store or any place where they sell wigs, they'll usually sell braiding hair, which is what I used to make this. And if you find how to box braid, the tutorials will show you how to make an extended braid like this, and they'll also show you how to do all of the little box braids that I have in my wig as well. I'll also link those in the description as well, so you guys can look at some of those videos. Don't do it on your real hair if you're white, please. But it is a really cool technique that they definitely do use in the movie to design the character's hair, and it's also the only way that you can get a really, really long braid like this that looks natural while using multiple lengths of hair. So this is actually several different pieces of hair. It starts off as a piece up here, and then I add another piece, and then I added a third piece. And then the inside of it, which makes the tsahelu, or like the neurons that connect to things, is made of some yarn. I also didn't use any rubber bands or anything. Everything is either sewn into the wig or tied into the wig, and obviously if you've seen people do the embroidery floss in their hair, that's what this is. As with all lace fronts, it's a little bit touchy trying to get it to look right on my head, but other than that, that's mainly how I made the front facing part of the costume. The other thing that I get a lot of questions about is my tail. My tail is actually a couple of different pieces. It's obviously the hair, a pair of tights, not the nylon microfiber ones. It is still from We Love Colors, but it is the cheaper ones because it's not going to get as much wear and tear on my body as these tights on my arms will. So it's just a regular pair of the $9 tights, some beads that I added. But what's interesting about the tail is that it's actually filled with wire, so I can bend it to be whatever shape I want it to be. The wire is a framing wire from Home Depot, which you can get for like 10 bucks. There's a ton of it, super heavy duty, and the tail also is connected to a belt inside of my costume so that the weight of the tail doesn't pull on the jumpsuit. The tail is also made up of, it has an inner lining that is stuffed and then wrapped in batting. If you ever do any quilting or if your grandma does any quilting, that's what it's wrapped in. It's wrapped in batting because it gives it more the texture of like what a tail would actually be, like muscle and skin and things like that. Because if you were to just stuff it, especially with such a thin material like the tights are, it would inevitably show a lot of lumps. And by using a lining, it also meant that I could test the size of the tail, how it moved with the wire and everything, without having to worry about ruining my only pair of tights that I have for this. The hair is actually just the extra hair from the braiding, so the extra hair from my queue. If you buy a bag of like braiding hair, there's a ton of it in there. I still have some. I just sewed it into a weft and then sewed the weft onto my tail, and if you heat braiding hair, it smooths it out so it's not super duper frizzy. So I just took a blow dryer to it, shaped it the way I wanted it to, and it's nice and shiny and pretty now. That's all for this part of the costume. I'll be making another video talking about how I did the different pieces of clothing and all the different like jewelry and things that I have. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful. I'll link all the things that I used to make it and all the things that like actually need links, like where the tights are and things like that, in the description. And I hope you watch my other video, which is how to do my Navi makeup, where I talk about my contacts, that I use, the face paint that I use, all of that kind of stuff, so that if you have any questions about that there, I will link that video at the end of this video, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching.